Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 246 and yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized for such time as he may consume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, the House of Representatives continues its commitment to bolstering enforcement efforts against human traffickers in the United States and ensuring that we properly identify and serve victims. I want to thank Congresswoman Joyce Beatty for her leadership on this issue and for introducing H.R. 246, which will improve the ability of law enforcement officials and others to respond to and assist these victims. The House voted 409-0 to pass this legislation last summer, and as previous House efforts have done, the bills being considered today attempt to change for the better how we view victims. For too long, these victims have been seen as willing participants and treated as actors in the criminal scheme. However, we now know that oftentimes individuals are trapped as victims by human trafficking organizations, and sadly, many of these victims are children. Congresswoman Beatty's legislation will ensure that we view victims of sex trafficking not as participants, but as victims, and ensure that child sex trafficking crimes are reported. Under current law, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children operates a cyber tip line to provide online users and electronic service providers a means of reporting Internet-related child sexual exploitation in many areas, including child prostitution. H.R. 246 would replace the term child prostitution with child sex trafficking in the cyber tip line reporting categories to reinforce that children who are sexually exploited are victims whose situation should be taken seriously when reported. It would also ensure the public recognizes that child prostitution is included in how NCMEC uses the term child sex trafficking, and thus should still be reported to the tip line. Again, I want to thank Congresswoman Beatty, along with the Education and Workforce Committee and House leadership, for recognizing the need to steadfastly address this dreadful practice. With that, Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 246 and reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlemen.